Yo, what's up, people? It's your boy, the Kryptonian, saying here, bringing you a review for One Piece chapter 324. And Oda left us off with one hell of a cliffhanger. Zoro is being attacked. That's interesting, but it also makes me more of a Zoro fanboy. I'm not even gonna lie on this one. Like, I don't really have Zoro just like right up there right now for my favorite characters. It fluctuates, but to see Zoro asleep and to just suddenly unsheath his sword and block an attack by somebody who's got the high ground on him, that was so badass. Like, yo, that is some cool shit. It really reminds me of what Kenshin and Inuyasha did, okay? Like with Kenshin, even though he was beaten to a bloody pulp, he was willing to just rip, I can't remember who it was, I believe it was somebody in the Oniwaban group, but he was ready to rip somebody to shreds at that point. Even though he was beaten to bloody pulp, he was in full manslayer mode. And there's another thing with Inuyasha, where Inuyasha was at death's door and he was holding on to the to Saiga, and as soon as somebody approached him, he gripped the sword handle and sent out like a little bolt of energy. That's what that reminded me of, just seeing the swordsman spirit being fully intact at this point. Mwah! That was beautiful. That was beautiful, man. That was beautiful. Like, I've almost got Zoro to the level where he's on some Mamoru Chiha level shit, where with Madara just has this super big bag of epic shit, as King of Lightning likes to say, and Madara just pulls epic shit out. This is right there with that. I mean, I know some of you guys are like, why are you fanboying over that? Because that's just like, it's small things like that I get excited about, and that's one of the things I really love about One Piece is Oda just pays a lot of attention to the small stuff, and all these little small moments just add up to more and more epic stuff, man. And don't get me wrong, like, to see Sanji kind of walking off like that, even Sanji had a moment in this, you know, whereas with Sanji, I've got a soft spot for the perverts in the different animes, and Sanji's like, oh my god, Nico Robin's gone, what am I gonna do? I'm stuck on the ship with you. There's too many ball sacks on here. I've got to get going. That's how Sanji looked at it. And to put that in perspective, man, like, Sanji is already thinking like, man, I've been on the ship with Robin, I've been on the ship with Vivi, and now I've been on the ship with Nami the longest, and I still ain't hit. I gotta get into something. That's how I took Sanji's whole expression, man. Like, then again, you know, Sanji is a bit of a gentleman, you know, like, he's got some perverted ways. I mean, you see it. Okay, the dude has tunnel vision. Like, he was able to spot from a long distance that Nami and Skypiea had put her shirt back on. So, I mean, the guy is definitely a pervert, but he's also a gentleman. And it's just like, you see the balance on it, man. It's like you got good Sanji and you got perverted Sanji, and then you got the cook. It's like Sanji's a three-headed monster. So, that was cool to see that, and Sanji kind of walks off. I like how, once again, we get into a new island, new area, and Nico Robin's doing her own thing. She's lone wolfing it. At least this time she took Chopper with her. But it's stuff like that. That's what I mean, like the small stuff. Oda pays attention to the small stuff and just inserts it in there because, once again, Robin is showing some distance with the crew. And she's not telling anybody anything. I mean, that's what I mean. Something's going on with Nico Robin's character. I don't know where Oda's going to have the turn. If you guys are familiar with the character's descent to hell, you have the hero's call to action, and you have the descent to hell. Okay, like any main characters that you have, they go through one of those two things. Not the hero's call to action, the hero's journey. So you either have the hero's journey or you have the hero's descent to hell. And with both of these, I see more of the descent to hell with Nico Robin. She's not the main character, but you can do this with support characters. You know, in Star Wars, we actually see both of them in The Force Awakenings, where you have Rey on her hero's journey, and with Finn, you see just a constant descent. And now he's like in a coma and everything. Spoilers, if you guys, sorry if you're not into Star Wars or you think about getting to episode 7. Figured it was safe at this point because episode 8 is coming out at the end of 2017. So, I mean, by the time you guys are seeing this, it's going to be probably February, March of 2017. So, it's fair warning. So, the reason why I say that, Nico Robin is on her descent. And I don't know when it's coming. I don't know when the big turn's coming, but it's got to be coming soon. And it just makes all the different things that we're seeing definitely pay off. And going more with the theme for this chapter, the small things, okay? once again, more world building. We find out that they have these things called bulls, right? Where it's like a big coach, right? And what you're able to do is you put it on this sea creature and it pulls you around, and it's almost like riding in a horse carriage, man. And that was kind of cool to see that, man. You know, like in the city I'm in, you know, like you can do that, and it's not as big as it used to be, but you can do that. But you know, one thing for me, I remember I took took my ex out there to a farm. We call it a farm. I'm not gonna say the name because if I say the name of the park, you guys are gonna know where I stay at. So I'm not saying that. But we have a huge park, and it's got the name farm in it. But we have a huge park, and you're able to do like the horseback riding and everything, and it reminds me of kind of that, right? And so just to see how that's kind of going, where they're being pulled around, and it does confirm what I said in the last chapter, that because it's set up like how it is, you're able to kind of go around through the pathways and everything. You have to you have to take the little rowboats and everything in order to get around. And so that was cool to kind of see that aspect of it. And what I mean by small stuff is we see like one of the little elevators and like diagram how it gets broken down. Oda just puts a lot of thought into every little detail of what we've seen, and this is good. I don't see as much symbolic stuff as I did with Skypiea, and obviously following an arc like that, yeah, we had the transition arc, but with this one, you can't really just overload at this point. I feel like Skypiea definitely just overloaded your senses if you're paying attention with all the symbolic stuff. So with this one, not as much, but there's some very supreme world building going on here. And I like how one of the things Oda does is he gives us a teaching moment. I'm really big on teaching moments, obviously, and I know some of you guys enjoy it when I kind of point out little things and give you little nuggets of wisdom, or kind of relate life experiences. And what I found interesting is you have this scene where Luffy's just dragging around this huge pile of gold, and Nami is kind of agreeing with Usopp. It might be better for them to just cash in that gold and carry around bills, because Usopp, you know, that's the brother in Usopp. Usopp's like, damn, we got too much of this shit sticking out. People gonna realize something's going on. They're gonna rob our ass. And Usopp, this is where, you know, you lose your brother card on this one, alright? You know, see, Usopp's just like, we have to worry about pirates. And Luffy's just like, I know this motherfucker did. Dumbass, we're pirates too. The look Luffy gives them, and how, like, oh man, like the way it's just drawn so nonchalantly, where Luffy is just continuing to walk, and he's like, yeah, we're pirates too. I was just like, Luffy has no chill. And I mean, granted, the dude is probably, if somebody tries to take the gold, he's gonna belly me them, okay? Like, he's gonna belly me them. Like, where he had the fist print just stuck in the dude's face. I'm expecting something like that. Somebody tries to creep up on Luffy and Nami and Usopp. But the teaching moment in this comes in the fact that when they finally get to this shop, right, and they find out it's 2,000 berries, Luffy says, I have all this gold, and the guy goes, oh my god, I'll take some. And the thing is the guy goes in and he says, oh, it's going to be 2 million berries, and Usopp and Nami are like Nami's smacking the guy around like, you get your hands off my treasure. Usopp is like, no, you just raised the price. Luffy's just stupid enough, he would have just gave it to him, okay? And not so much the treasure, but gave him as much as he thought 2 million berries was. And the lesson in that is, you're not supposed to flaunt what you have. You know, if you're in an affluent situation, or if you're well off, like, you always want to be, say, if on a scale from 1 to 10 in terms of how much you're balling as far as what you can do, if you can ball on a level of 10, you want to do it on when you go out, you want to do it on a 7. You don't want to draw any attention to yourself. You know, 7, most people are at a 5. So a 7 means that you're still a couple pegs up from most people, but at the same time, you're not drawing extra attention to yourself. If people notice, they notice, but it's not something grandiose, okay? And that's something for me. I remember when I was in college, right? You know, I got like next to no attention when I was driving the first Mustang I had, right? Like, next to no attention. When I switched up and I bought a BMW from a family friend, right? I got so much negative attention brought my way. Okay, I got so much negative attention. I had never been stopped by police as much as I was at that point. Okay, like I remember one of my first times I was driving the car. Right, I had just dropped my girl. I was at campus. I had just dropped my girl off at her apartment. I was driving back to my place. Right, and it was probably a couple hours after rush hour. Right, and a cop puts his lights on. Another cop car comes in. It ended up being 4 cop cars boxed me into the Waffle House on the street, right? And it's because he said he couldn't see my tags. But it was like, at the end, it was like, oh, well, you don't need to tell us you're driving a BMW. You don't need the bracket on there. We can see the BMW emblem. You don't really need it. Because my 2015 tags were still there. They were still there. You could see them. And I was just like, the fuck, dude? The fuck? They weren't even blocked. But yeah, the cops say, oh, looking inside. And I mean, just little small stuff like that. I have been, stopped quite a few times. I'm not going to turn this into just a rant on that. I've got one more for you, and then I'm going to kind of leave it on the side. Like, I remember me and my girl went downtown, and then I'm driving the same car, and I'm thinking, okay, it's whatever. I'm going to the local bar downtown by the train tracks and stuff, and where the trolley and everything is. And I'm coming back, and I get a cop, pulls me over, Anyway, long story short, like, he comes in, he goes to her passenger side, and I roll down the window, and he's asking her, hey, are you okay? Is everything... I'm like, what the fuck? You're not even asking me nothing. And it's because, like, okay, like, I get it. I'm a black dude. You see a white female on the passenger side. I'm driving the car I'm driving. You got issues. I totally understand it. I got humiliated in front of my girlfriend at the time, And in the back of my mind, it put in my head, like, maybe I shouldn't have nice stuff because I'm drawing extra attention to myself, well put together and all that. Like, what the hell? I was just downtown, like, what the fuck, man? And I say all that to say, that's the lesson that Nami and Usopp are trying to teach this dude. Like, you cannot show off your valuables like that. You cannot show off how well off you are. Like, Luffy... Let's just say Luffy did the stupid thing and Luffy took all of their gold because they're going to cash it all out so they could pay for a shipwright, right? You don't do that. You don't show everybody what you got, because let's just say that guy that rented them the stuff couldn't pick up the phone like, hey man, you're not going to believe this right here. This dude just came in here with all this gold. You jump him, throw him in the water. You don't know you got devil fruit, but throw him in the water. And we're going to split all this up. I'm going to get 50, you get 25, and you get 25. All right, good, okay. And that'd be that. Like, it could have been something like that. Luffy did the stupidest thing you can do. I had huge issues with that. But again, Luffy's one of those guys, he kind of lives in the moment. And, that's probably one of the best ways to kind of live your life. But there's something to be said about being aware of your surroundings. And once again, this is what I told you guys. The Straw Hat Crew, they do a really good job of setting it up so what you see with the crew is they actually save Luffy from himself at times. So that was cool. I do like how when the chapter ends off, I'm going to circle back to what I opened up with. I do like how when the chapter ends off, we see Luffy and he's being, given a rundown about how pirates, they try to do things the pirate way, but the team of shipwrights, you can't really mess with them. One guy in particular who really stood out to me was Lucy. His name spelled Luuci. I like that character design. That was pretty cool, but they just finished beating these pirates' ass, and I'm wondering who the hell just attacked Zoro. That's the big question. So my chapter question for you all is going to be a twofold question. It's going to be relating to the chapter itself, and there's going to be a question for you. The first part of the question is, what did you think about Luffy's idiot moment where he's showing all the gold? Did you laugh? What was your first reaction? Did you laugh? Or did you say, Luffy, you big dummy? I might call this Luffy a big dummy, so that's what I'm asking. The second question I have for you is, have you ever had a moment where you might have been feeling yourself a little too much and it got you in trouble? What I mean by that is, you might have been showing off how much money you had, or trying to brag about stuff you don't have. You draw more attention to yourself. You know, did you have something like that? Did you have something like that kind of going on? You know, it was either Biggie or Jay-Z. They had a really good line about how hustlers don't draw extra attention to themselves. It applies here. It really applies here. So I'm going to end it there, guys. If you're new, make sure you subscribe to the channel. If you like anything I had to say, hit that like button as it really helps out the channel, guys. Don't forget to share. Thank you for watching Kryptonian Saiyan. Have an awesome day, people.